Well, good afternoon. Welcome back to Virtual Pool 4 Online, and we've got an all USA England battle today. We've got a one-loss side match coming up in about 5 minutes' time, and that's a race to 13, and it's going to be between Mr.Bill and MC Clarky McClarky. That's the first match, that's the warm-up match to the main event, which is coming up later on tonight. Good afternoon, Slim. Later on tonight in exactly 2 hours time, well, just over 2 hours time, we will have another England-USA battle in the winner's side, and that's going to be Larry from the USA and Cobra from England. And well, the good matches don't end there. We've got another couple coming up tomorrow, I think, as well. Let's see if we can find this bracket. Where are we? Wrong thing. Hang on a minute. That's the one I'm looking for. I will just check to see if Tin had forwarded any more matches there. Usually forwards any matches that have been arranged on the bracket. Right. So we also noticed that Mr. Fox has arranged his match with Hazard on the one-loss side. That is for tomorrow at 5 PM, I believe. And say there's the match, the result from last night. We had Mal overcome Snake Eyes 19 racks to 10 for a fairly comfortable win. And there's the match that is coming up later on. But if we go further down, we've got Bedhead and Stubb on Tuesday night at 8 PM British Summer Time. That would be 3 PM Eastern Standard Time. And then further down again, tomorrow night we have Spectre Dawn and One Pocket Slim at 7:30 PM. So that's in the winner's side. And what was the other one I mentioned? Yeah, we've got well, there's Hairpig and Snake Eyes, but that's not until the 1st of May. That's another one that's been arranged. What was the other one I was talking about? Yeah, that the Mr. Fox has had one. So there's 2 matches tomorrow night as well as the 2 matches we have today. Now, obviously, this match is starting 2 hours before the main one. It's likely to be finished in about 90 minutes or so. On a general basis, that's how long it would roughly take to finish, but there is a possibility it could overlap Larry and Cobra. It's unlikely, but it could. But when you've got guys that can pop balls, it generally won't last as long as that. And then, of course, we've got the match between Larry and Cobra still to come. And, of course, well, I think you're the only one that's here, Slim. I don't think anybody else is bothered. We're about a minute away from the top of the hour. Both players are here. Bill, I'm guessing, will have had plenty of practice over the last few days in the challenge rooms, etc. He's been getting a fair few practice racks in. I'm not sure about Matt. That may well be the case that he doesn't have the time to put in as many hours. And as say somebody like Spectre Dawn, who's been putting a lot of practice hours in. I wonder if he's in the lobby or if he's away finally getting dinner. Well, he's certainly not visible there. Good afternoon to Cobra. And well, we're going to have dual commentary again later today. Steve is going to be joining for the big USA England showdown on the main event in 2 hours time. Anyway, at least that's his intention. Well, we are past the top of the hour on my screen and my watch, and I still don't see the tournament room. There we go. Speak of the devil, there it is. I probably have to change the cloth colour again. No, I don't. So we're all set to go. I'll check my little doodle, check it's working, and we're in before everybody else. So we're all set. Now, I think the one sort of little surprise was perhaps Snake Eyes overcoming Matt. Although in the end it should not have been a surprise as such, but I think bearing in mind that neither of those two players spend an awful lot of time online, I suppose at the end of the day it's maybe a toss of a coin, but it certainly went Snake Eyes' way. But as I say, Snake Eyes had the unfortunate task of trying to deal with Matt with Mal last night. Right, both queues look the same to me, so I haven't a clue who's who. And that looked a fairly even lag, but Bill was giving it. So Bill to break off. Remember, just a race to 13. And that 8th almost got nudged in, but I think it's dry straight away here. Good afternoon to Hazard. Trying to use the 8 ball to guide the 1 in, but maybe in fact I never bothered looking, but it probably the case that it was going to be the combo onto the 8. There may well not have been enough room to squeeze the 1 in, but at least the 1's still in play. It's still afternoon. It's only 5 PM. Evenings after 6. At least that's what I've decided. Good afternoon. Well, I was watching the Sean Murphy Xian Bing Tao match, so I had to give that up to get this started. So Matt, the wrong side of the 3. Plenty of room though to get on the 4. Shouldn't have any major problem there. Well, the main objective after he spotted the 4 is not only just potting the 5, but to get down the bottom side of the 6. Now, if you ended up somewhere right down here in the bottom rail, something crazy like that, then it's a very tight pot past that 7 ball. It's obviously got to be played into the middle, and it doesn't go past the 9, so this isn't quite as clear cut as it looks, especially now that he's dead straight on the 5. He's bolt straight on the 5. You see now he's got a problem. It looks so easy to run this, and this is a cutback into that middle pocket, and it's a lot thinner than he thinks. but it's certainly not going past that 9. And he'd all that table to work with to get down the bottom side of it, and he's managed to pick it. Played well to get that. Now, of course, the cue ball wants to run away over to the right hand corner, which leaves the 9 ball a tough shot. Now you can, well, you're limited slightly by the fact the cue ball's close to the rail, so he's just trying to nudge it in, keep it as straight as he can, and that's not bad. That will do. So that's a run out, isn't it? Because Bill broke dry, and that's a run out for Matt, if I remember right. I don't recall Bill getting any other shots after he broke off. So it's 1-0. Oh, the 9 ball. Look at that 9 ball. That just needs any sort of nudge and it's gone. Now what does Matt do here? Does he try and reverse bank the 1 up onto the 9? Does he try and clip the 1 and bring the cue ball up to nudge the 9? Because he's not potting the 1. That's the problem here. Now immediately if he's pushing out, you've got to push the 9 in. That's what he should be doing. He's playing, he called the push out, now he seems to have changed his mind, but this is where you have to get your head on straight here. Because that 2 ball obviously is the next shot. And whoever gets the 1 is going to obviously have the rack. But I'm surprised that he didn't back himself there for the safety blanket of nudging the 9 in with a push out. Well, we'll see if that works out for him. I know I would have done it. I would have potted the 9 as the push out. So now, having made that decision, he has to do everything that makes sure that Bill can't get anywhere near a ball that's going to nudge on the 9 in all the safety shots that he's going to play. And that's a good one. That's got Bill in trouble here. Bill's going to have to go cross table and try and kick this. I mean, I don't believe he's going to go up and down and try and kick it because the 4 ball's too much in the way, and now I think he's considering trying to jump this, but I think that's probably a recipe for disaster. No, he managed to get the edge of it, and he scratched, so it's paid off for Matt. Just a roll in the 1 and the 2-9 combo for 2-0. I wonder if that's just him realising that the 9 ball's been over the pocket all the time since the break. Do you think that's what's happened there? Do you think he's just realised the 9's over the pocket? He's not exact. I mean, why didn't he just roll the 1 ball up the table into the top right hand corner so he could just finish straight on the 2? Anyway, he should get it. But oh dear. Well, that is absolute. I mean, what a crazy sequence of shots that was. I mean, the first thing he should have done was roll the 5 in there, roll whatever ball it was, the 1 ball in there, and then just finish on the 2. And that is an absolute gift out of the blue for Bill. And, well, Matt does not want to watch the rerun of these first 2 racks, especially this rack, because that was an absolute disaster of shot choice. Especially not being able to cut the 2 onto the 9. I mean, that was just unforgivable. And they didn't do the simple thing to start with and just roll that ball up the right rail so he was square on the 2 just to roll it straight into the 9. Wonders will never cease. It's amazing what players, how they see a shot and end up making a complete balls of it. So anyway, what should have been 2-0 is 1-1. And I suspect Bill's still laughing up his sleeve about that one. He's got to be total handout there from Matt. That's a good one. It's good as well because that 4-ball blocks the path for the kick from the way I see it. Let's have a look. But there is an edge of that one. And that little kiss there on the 4 has done Bill a nice favour, nudging in behind the 7. And if that cue ball keeps running, that 4 ball's coming into play again. But you know what Bill's going to do. No prizes for guessing here. Straight out of the jump stick. So in goes the 1. Now, does he want... I don't see how he can hold this cue ball for the 3 without running up and down the table. Because it will go into the middle pocket. There's room for it to go. It's out far enough to pot it comfortably, but whether he can hold it here is another thing. And Bill, I'm afraid, took the wrong option there. He should have ran up and down the table. There was plenty of room to do it. But he's got away with it. Well, you know, that shot there doesn't really put Bill under a lot of pressure because there's no distance in it. That cue ball should have been up in the top rail. Okay, Matt can't do much other than trying to kick this in as a combo. But he's not even looking at it. Didn't even consider it. Bill looks as if he's trying to play a combo in a bank, a sort of 2-in-1 shot there. A billiard off the 4 onto the 5, off the 2 onto the 5, and bank the 2 at the same time. And he's got away with it again, although this time I think Matt can... Well, he's not trying it, but he could have punched that 2 ball round the table and try and kill the cue ball there. Although, if you don't get it tight behind this 8 ball, Bill would just jump it if it ended up down in this corner. But now Bill has a genuine chance. Again, it's not easy because he's got to get somewhere up the table in the middle to have a shot at this 3 ball. And that's come out too square. That should have been running further southwest as we look. Further down this direction to get a clean shot at that down the rail. The safety's quite good, I think. Not a lot there on that 3 ball, and difficult now to get enough purchase of the 3 ball to do anything with it to try and keep it safe. You see he's brought it across the table, but it's there for the cut. Well, we've had sunshine here all day. I mean, it's not been a heat wave, but it's been a nice day. Although I haven't seen much of it. I've been inside. in working all morning to after, what time was that? I can't remember when I finished. It was about 12:30 when I finished today. But if you're anywhere down the east coast, there's a cold wind coming in off the North Sea, so the temperatures are a bit lower down the east side, and there's a bit of a gale blowing through the English Channel I've seen, so that'll take the edge off any temperature. So this rack is not over yet, because that 8-ball is very tight on that rail. It's not touching it, but he's got to get good on it. That looks pretty good. The only problem though is if he tries to force too much out of this shot to get a better line in the 9, he may well end up sacrificing the 8-ball because of it. He's just going to have to run through as far as he dare to widen the angle on this cut, and he should get it. I mean, even though he's got the distance, it's a fair bet he should get this in to get the slight lead. Now, here's a thing, Cobra. Now that you're watching the stream, you and Larry may well have the opportunity to go and get a cup of tea, or that's going to scratch, or a cup of coffee. Oh, it just held up, or a cup of coffee. And the reason I'm suggesting that is, I think he's corner hooked. This match might, the way it's looking, it might run over 2 hours, and it might run into your match. So it might be a good idea if you guys could hold off until this match finished. Once the 2 of you are in the room, it's not going to time out. In fact, if none of you actually break, the timer doesn't start. If I'm right in saying, I think the timer starts once you're into the match, once the rack started. So whenever the rack finishes and you're going to break the next rack, the clock doesn't start. See, you should have started it at 6 PM then. Mind you, that'd be all the earlier for Larry. Well, I'll be up at 4:30 tomorrow morning, same as I was this morning. Well, things are going fairly casually at the moment. We've been playing 20 minutes and we're only into the 4th rack. But even though Matt can see and pot the 2, he's got to get a good line as he can, and that's not bad, so that he can actually play this 3-6. Again, with this one, I think he's pretty much got to play it dead weight, because that's the only way he can keep the 3 on line so that he can still pot the 3. And now I think he can stun out across the 4, so he can take the 4 in the same pocket as well. He's looking across the table. I don't see the problem with just a quick jab and a stun across. And there's not a real problem here, even though he's the wrong side of the 4. It's easy enough to pot the 4 and just check the cue ball, just to keep it in line to play that 5. Now, what have we got down the table? The 8 and 9. He actually wants to get right back over the table here. Again, it just widens the angle, and it just means he can drop the 5 in and be very comfortable on this 7. Oh, I haven't. Yeah, I haven't touched anything. I don't know how long that is now. I haven't had anything. Put it this way, it's the longest it's been since I tried previously. I haven't. Again, I keep going back to. I don't understand the thinking of people with cigarettes and giving up cigarettes. You know, I had a pick earlier on this morning where somebody was buying nicotine patches. And these nicotine patches, there were only, I don't know how many were in the box, but it cost £10 for nicotine patches and various nicotine gum and all of this other stuff. Why say you've given up cigarettes and then going for a substitute that can end up just being as expensive? It's still expense for no reason whatsoever. And people make an excuse saying, well, it's healthier than smoking. Now, granted, it's healthier than smoking, but it's not healthier in your pocket. You're still spending unnecessary money. It's not hard to give up smoking. You know, what's hard is, the hard part is not buying them. That's the hard part. Being able to walk past the cigarette counter and not buy any. And let's be honest, once you've done it once or twice, it's not hard after that. So I can't see where the problem lies. You will have the cravings for them. I mean, I've had cravings for them, especially after my dinner. But you know, those cravings go away. That little voice in your head that tells you need to have a cigarette, it begins to go quiet. So, and it's all obviously about willpower. That's what everybody says. But to me, the willpower is not buying them, because if you don't buy them, you don't have them, and you don't smoke them. It's a simple equation. You know, don't buy, don't have, don't smoke. End of. And that's exactly what I've done. And it still doesn't say that you're not going to have cravings to have one. It's about not. It's about resisting and desisting. But you know, vaporizers and all of that stuff. Then that, again, to me, that's just a waste of money. That's just a false way of convincing yourself you're doing something right by spending just as much of a fortune on other equipment. But anyway, Bill has ball in hand again from the scratch by Matt. Now, this is just a bit fiddly straight away here with this 3-ball, because it can. The simple way to do this would be to stun into the 7, leave yourself a wee angle, just so that you pot the 3 and stun into the 7 and get the 7 out of the way, and then you know you're going to be in the 4. rather than leave yourself a more awkward angle in the ball. He's trying to run through to take it in the middle. Now he's stuck to the rail. Now, again, as far as I could see, the best shot there would have been a little stun onto that 7 to play the 4, and then it would have been easier to get on the 5 from it. He's done well to get there. Plenty of room left in the table now to get the run out. But it's early stages in the match, but no sign of anybody looking to take any more control in this match. But that's going to be decided by the break. Whoever gets their break working and can make the most of it may well be able to sort of sneak out a little gap and maybe get a rack or 2 in the lead. Wrong side of the 8. So again, well, with this shot, a wee bit of inside right just to make sure you come down this right hand side. Oh dear, again, that was just not very well executed, Bill. I don't know where he was intended to go, but I don't know what was wrong with nudging that in, and a little bit of nudge just to make sure you're coming down. He's got the cut. But you don't want to start making things more difficult for yourself. But maybe he didn't want to risk putting too much on the cue ball. But this time, 9 ball goes in. There's the bonus. And all of a sudden, we have just what I was talking about. The break works. The 9 ball goes in. First golden break of the match. And the first time we have clear daylight between the 2 players. But no sooner have I said that than Bill's found a way to scratch. And ball in hand for Matt. Now, where's the problem here? Well, you draw back off the 1. And the line that you're drawing back on, now again, you've got to get the ball in hand done right, because he's gone too far. You see, if he'd drawn the direct line to the rail, the tangent line would mean he was staring right on the 2. Now he's offline for this combo. He should have slowed down there and looked at the lineup, but he's got it. And no sooner has Bill got the lead, and straight into the hole, scratch. And McClarkey, MC Clarkey that is, back to within 1. Ball in the break. Ball in the middle. 4 ball over the top left. And the 3 ball will cut, so the 1 and 2 has gone. And again, the good thing about increasing the odds and running this rack is that the 8 and 9 are very adjacent to one another again. Sitting right down the bottom rail. And that makes it a lot more comfortable to run out. Where the problem lies is the 7 ball. And where the 6 ball is, and getting to the 7 ball good. So again, it looks simple enough that the balls are not covering one another. But the difficult part is getting good to that next ball. And his line on this 5, that's not a problem. It's how he comes away from this 6 ball that's a problem. He certainly doesn't want to get involved with any of these. And if he just stuns this in firm and goes right across, he can roll the 7 into the middle, but he would need to roll far enough so that he can come back and take that 8. And he's not gone far enough. So now he's got a choice. He can run it into the middle, up and down with the cue ball. He can cut it longwise and come back across, but he's got to get it nailed fairly precisely that he doesn't end up landing behind a 9. This is where the hard work starts. I don't know whether he's hit that enough, has he? Well, the spin's doing its trick, but he needs to go and open the angle more again, because now he's got a high cut, and this is going to be dodgy to try and hold that without running up and down the table. He's trying to nudge it in. He's got there, and he's fine, and he's going to be all square. Again, he's that little hesitation. I mean, there's no double take on this 9-ball. You see the line, and you hit it. You know, there's, you know, my theory. I mean, once you've seen the line in the shot, that's it. Make your mind up, but don't double take, because that's asking for trouble. So 4 racks all, race to 13. I think I told you that story, Mark, about my dad. I mean, this is, goodness me, God knows what age I would have been, but my dad, I remember, I was old enough to remember him saying it, because that's what my dad used to smoke, the Woodbines. And I always remember the day the Chancellor put the tax on the cigarettes up at the budget. And when the Woodbines, a pack of 10 went up to 12 pence a pack, that was the day that my dad said, well, that's it. That's the last one I'm smoking, and he never smoked again. 12 pence. Now, how's Bill doing here? Well, this is another big problem in finding somewhere for this 4-ball to go. I mean, if he just drops that 3 in or stuns it in, he's going to leave himself an awkward cut. But I don't think he really had many more options, to be honest with you. Yeah, 12 pence. That's the figure that stays in my mind. 12 pence per pack. He only, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm talking about back in the day when they probably didn't do packs of 20. Well, it's like, I think a pack of cigarettes now is about, on average over here, probably about £9, which is probably about $15 for a pack of 20. Well, there we are. Matt, from 2 racks down, has won the last 3 and into the lead. I mean, cigarettes would be, you know, much cheaper, obviously. Like, it's a huge chunk of tax that's on them. That's, I mean, pounds and pounds of tax on them. Straight into the government's coffers. No, that was never a thing over here, Slim. They tried it over here. What was it that it was called again? Mark will probably remember. The name of the brand. They had it for a while, but it get very quickly booted out the door. The strange thing is people kicked up a fuss about it because it can give you mouth cancer. And these were the same people that were probably still smoking cigarettes instead of the chewing tobacco. What was it called? Oh God, I can't remember. Mind you, if you said the name of a brand, it would probably jump out and I'd remember it. mean, the healthier option nowadays is just to get 20 quid out your wallet, light it with a match, and just watch it burn, because you know it's still the same end result. You still get a pile of ash, but you don't get the inhalation problems. Slim, you must know some brands of chewing tobacco. A big trendy brand of chewing tobacco. What was it called? Something. It was like a double name. Oh dear, Skull Bandits. That's it. Larry jumped straight in. That was it. Skull Bandits it was called. And they obviously tried to infiltrate the UK market with their stuff, but it really died a death. But as I say, it just got bad press. They seem to, you know, all the sort of anti-smoking agencies over here, they seem to jump straight onto that about mouth cancer and all of that stuff. All the while everybody else is still puffing in their cigarettes. So no, they didn't last very long. But Skull Bandits was the name of the product, if I remember. But that, I mean, I know what I'm like when I put anything up my nose. I mean, if you know, I get hay fever in the summer anyway. But I know that if I sniff snuff, I'd be just sneezing for hours after it. I don't know. I mean, I never ever saw the product in the stores, but that certainly was the name. As soon as I saw Skull. So here we go. Bill at the table, looking to get in a level playing field again. But again, a tricky one here with this 7. The cue ball just wants to run into this 9. He's going to do his best to avoid it. And the little draggy draw shot, and he's gone under the 8, and this is a toughie because the scratch is on. If he's just going to run it plain ball, the scratch is on into that middle pocket. He's going to take the risk by the look of it, but he's going to have to run it because he's going to have to get topside in the 9 if he wants to take it into this other middle pocket. Now he's digging down to make sure he stays away, but in doing that he's cut it right into the rail. It might end up with not a bad safety shot because at least he's got distance on it, and this is tricky to cut. Well, Bill's 3 months older than me. Bill said he had his birthday last week, and my birthday's not till August. But Bill's just turned 57. Well, that's what happens when you end up getting distance. There's the proof there, because Matt has left that and played it very weak. Now Bill has got a free go to make sure he gets squared up. So again, a reminder to anybody who's joined us late, I will be joined in the commentary box, provided the commentary box still works, so I'll have to tab out to just check that. Steve should be joining us for the big USA England showdown, or part 2 that is. This is the first part. And I'm going to pose Steve a question, and that question to Steve is what do you think of trackball mice for VP4? See what he says. Oh dear, that's the type of stuff you can't be making those mistakes. Simple as that. We're now at the stage in the tournament where it's no miss when you've got a wide open table. That's where we are now. That's the level that we're at. If you're going to survive in this tournament, It's no miss when you get an open table. You've got to deliver. Unforced errors are a no-no. They shouldn't exist in your vocabulary. Oh, I mean, let's be honest. If you're a smoker nowadays, it's probably even worse in the States, because you know what the Americans are like for jumping on the bandwagon with these type of things. I mean, they're nuttier than most countries. You might as well be a leper. You know, you might as well have some horrible affliction, because you're the lowest of the low. And it's getting that way over here as well. Because if you want to have a smoke now, you have to go out in the piss and rain, stand in a gale or a blizzard. You've got to go to all the worst places, because you're not wanted. Scum of the earth, that is true. Definitely scum of the earth. Now, got to get right out into the table again. The further the better. Again, he could easily punch that in. Oh, again, he's trying to be cute here, and getting himself awkward. Yeah, down in the southern states, they'll preach at you in one hand with the Bible, and then the other hand they'll have their Marlboro. And Matt was asking for that, to be honest with you, because again, he's looking to do something fancy there, when the simple thing was to just push that to the far side of that middle pocket to get the cue ball right out into the table. And that's why he's lost the rack. He's gifted that chance here for Bill. And Bill isn't going to be able to take the advantage of it. He's come up dry. I read a bit in I mean, this sort of news doesn't get down south, but I read a bit in the teletext this morning. In fact, I saw it last night before I went to bed, but I never actually read the main story, and it said about, I think 7 cars were set fire. Somebody set fire to 7 cars in a prison car park, and I thought no more about it. And then when I got up this morning before I went to work, I thought, well, better read this story and find out where it was, and sure enough, we've got Kilmarnock Prison that was built a few years ago in the outskirts of town, and that's where somebody has the only witness they have is that the car sped away from the car park, but seven cars were burnt out in the prison car park. So it just has to happen locally, doesn't it? That's obviously somebody that was disgruntled that probably couldn't get a parking space, so They torched the cars and then did a runner. I wonder if they were all prison warders' cars. You know, like maybe in a little private section for their cars only, and they went in and deliberately burnt them out. That'd be a few £1,000 worth of insurance claims. So Bill with a 6-5 lead. And of course this is to survive in the tournament. Oh, he's hit the knuckle. And is Matt going to get away with this one? No, he won't, because again Bill will resort to Old Faithful here. And he shouldn't have any problem getting on this 7 ball. Cue ball should be still in the top half of the table as we look. And, well, there's a surprise. I mean, it's not often the cue ball goes off the table at that distance. But it has done. And Matt has been handed a free go. Now, how's he ended up on this 8 ball? Pretty straight. Now again, bottoming a bit of right hand side just to punch it over. Well, he hasn't really gone through with it, but the danger with that shot is putting too much on it and the cue ball ends up away down here. But he's left a dodgy cut, and that's where the mistakes are always going to happen. And Bill now has got to go for the bank because this 9 ball is lined up to that diamond. He's got to go for the bank. It's as good a bank as any bank you're ever going to see. And I don't know why he's looking at the cut, because if you get the line up here for the bank, you can do the double bank or get it straight away. He's hit that too hard. But the chance is gone. That was still easier doing that than it was to try and cut that. Good afternoon to Semi-Pro. So we're back all square. Rack's tilted slightly left. The 1 ball's further left than the 6 as you look at it. YouTube chat not working. That's weird. It was working for me. Well, I didn't get any message to say it wasn't working. Just give me a sec. Hang on, I'll be back in a minute. Well, I've checked everything and everything is green for go. Everything's green for go as far as all the chat's concerned. So, I don't know what's going on there. So, Matt looked to just... Well, he's obviously hoping to get some sort of cover and a good outcome, but he hasn't, because I think that one's on. Let's have a quick look. Yeah, the one goes, no problem, plenty of room. Again, Bill hasn't he hasn't got enough on it. I mean, he had loads of room to overhit that and get that even up to here. He's just not put enough top on it. Well, he's billiarded the 4 in, and the 4's done him a favour because it's given him half a chance at a 3-9 combo. Well, as I say, that's the problem at Restream's end. If signals aren't coming through, if chat messages aren't coming through, but there's nothing that tells me that there's a problem. So I didn't have anything. That was too late. It just put me in the notion to get one, but I never had one. Well, it's been a bit stop-start this match, hasn't it? We've had one golden break that gave Bill a 4-2 lead, and then it's been bogged down with, well, let's just say some inconsistencies this match so far, and I think both players are bringing each other down. And you don't necessarily get a classic when two players are battling to hang on in the tournament. It doesn't matter. It's like they say it in the snooker often enough. You know, it doesn't matter how you win. You win. If you win ugly, you're still in the tournament. That's all that matters. Now, we are, what, an hour and 7 minutes away from the start of the Larry Cobra match. So, well, as it goes round nearer the time, I'll be tabbing out and trying to find Steve in Discord and see if it still works. Because he's going to... He's hinted at his intentions at joining us for a second go at the commentary. So, Matt back into the lead. I don't know whether Bill can see any of this one to do much with it. Not really. I think he had a half-hearted attempt at trying to bank that up and down there, believe it or not. I think. Now again, if you pick the line to push that ball just past the 8, you get down that angle, you can try and use those balls for cover, but he's hit it too narrow. It had to be more open so it was up near the top rail. And now he could be in trouble. But then again, he might not. In fact, that one, there's enough of it exposed that Matt can probably cut this. That 4's a good guide for cutting the one in. There we go. But the cue ball has died a death in the corner. He hasn't gone through with it. Well, Bill's got to try and get distance here, I think. I mean, it's well worth trying to come out behind the 8 ball with the cue ball. Well, again, this doesn't really force anything on your opponent. You've got to get distance. To me, that's more paramount than anything else. Oh, of course, you've got to keep the object ball safe, but there's an opportunity there to get big distance in that cue ball. And neither of them are taking it. Well, Matt went all out for the bank. The cue ball's gone pretty tight to the side rail. There is a small gap. So that has proven to be the problem for Bill, and it's given Matt a starter. Again, he's got to get right into this cue ball to get right down good on this 3. And plenty of room. I mean, again, the line here can go that way, just up past the middle pocket, because that means you don't have to do very much at all with the cue ball other than let it follow the line. When it makes that cut angle in the 3, it's going to hit the rail and go somewhere up in that sort of direction, and it's all about judging the pace, because that opens up the right hand side of the table. Well, it's following the line, it just needs to keep going to get there. The problem with the angle again is trying to hold for that 5, and if he hits it plain ball just to cut it, he's going to brush off the 6 and could scratch. If he digs right into it, he's avoided the scratch, and he's played that very well indeed, just to land nicely on the 5. My graphics in game are bad. Balls look like they're shaking when they roll. Uninstalled the game and reinstalled, no change. Yes, I'll tell you the idea. You've been pissing about with NVIDIA again. That's exactly what that tells me. Don't worry about the graphics card driver being up to date. If it's an NVIDIA graphics card, you've been messing about with the NVIDIA settings. I bet you have. If you've been touching and interfering with the 3D settings in the NVIDIA card, that's the problem. And if you're also, the other thing is, the other way to know that you have a problem is when you go down to the kitchen line. If you look at the kitchen line, and if it's all sawtoothed and broken up, that's another reason that you're not letting the application run the 3D settings. You're messing about with the NVIDIA, or it's defaulted to that. But that's all that's wrong probably. If you go into the NVIDIA control panel and go to manage 3D settings, just make sure you choose the little checkbox for let the 3D application do its thing, or whatever it is. I think that's the first thing to check. That's only a 2-second job to do, and then go into a room and set a table and see if everything looks okay. But it could be caused by something that the other game's doing. You never know with these VR things. It could be mucking about with things. This VR game could be installing a different driver or something for the VR thing to work. Well, you never know. I mean, I don't know enough about VR, but I mean, some of these things may need other graphic drivers, third-party drivers installed in order to function properly. And there could be a conflict there. So it's always a process of elimination. We'll put it this way, if it's happening after, if VP4's not looking nice after you've played VR every time, then there is a problem in that along those lines, but it could be something obscure. You get strange conflicts with all sorts of things. Yep, Bill's got a problem. He's trailing by 2. And, well, if Matt can find his way out here, Bill's got more serious problems, because then he's going to be in the same boat as every player is. When you start trailing, especially now that it's only a race to 13, you then start pushing the boat out even further, taking more risks and leaving yourself wide open. Again, he's doing his best to put himself into bother here. I mean, he's going to have to try and squeeze that past that 6, and it's just gone to the knuckle. And Bill again has a chance that he cannot afford to throw away. And he's going to be dead straight in the 6. So he can only come backward and draw straight into this 9 unless he tries to pinch it. He's trying to pinch a line. He's got it. Now, if he goes out and has a look at the 8 ball, he can just drop through if he wants to nurse that 8 ball into the middle. But if he wants to go straighter, he can have the more open shot by taking it long. But now he's got this added problem of being stuck to the rail again. And that looks a good pace. And this is going into the top corner. I don't think he'll be trying to cut this into the middle. This to get back within 1. And now is the time where you want the break to work for you. This is a straight rack by the look of it. And I think the 4 ball has gone. And he's got half a shot in the 1. The 6 ball is thinking about it. The 2's over the right corner. The problem with this shot, there's an immediate problem straight away. It's not so much the fact that it's a bit of a fiddly cut. It's the fact that the cue ball, with the pace that he has to hit this to pot it, the cue ball's going to end up going off the rail and been blocked off. So he's trying to nurse it, and he's pushed it way into the short rail way before the pocket. And again, the thing in the back of his mind was to not be blocked off by the 9 and the 3 there, and he's managed to avoid that but sacrificed the pot because of it. Well, Bill's running out of time to settle, I'm afraid. You know, we're past the halfway mark now. And this may well mean his chance is gone in this rack as well. Oh well, commentator's curse has done it again. And this time it's in Bill's favour. He's got a chance he wasn't thinking he was going to get again. And now anywhere into the table. Oh dear Bill, what are you doing? What are you doing? Even if you just bash that and get the cue ball up the table somewhere, you're bound to be able to either brush off the 5 or do something for a combo. He's had to play the reverse bank. So he's got out of jail with that one. Well, I'll tell you, he's huffing and puffing. It's definitely a struggle. Now again, the golden rule with this one is roll through the 7 and get the top side of the 8. So, somewhere or another, Bill has got it back all square. Now he needs the break to work for him again. This is the way he can turn the match in his favour, by getting the break to work for him. 7 ball, well, it was in line to come down into this bottom right, but it was kicked out the way. And once again it's dry. But whoever gets the 1 ball has got to be running the table. Matt's gone all out for it. And this is an awkward cut. I mean, this is very thin. And also, you're trying to take evasive manoeuvres here to avoid scratching. Now, if he gets a lot of drag into this, and hits it firmish. Well, he's just trying to nurse it in. He's got it. Cue ball's going to stay up. But now, again, I don't see a problem with a firm stunny draw off this two to come over past that 4 ball or before the 4 ball, or even run into the 4 ball. It won't matter. Now it's a bit dicey. He's got to go high up the table, or he's got to baby this in, as they say, and try and just roll it in and finish behind the 5. Good evening to Tam. This is a warm-up match. It's an England-USA battle today. We've got a one-loss side match, and we've got a winner's side match to come up in 50 minutes time, or 55 minutes time. We've got Larry and Cobra in the race to 19. I waited till after 6 so I didn't upset you. Was watching on telly earlier. Where's the cue ball going? I think he's okay. Now, I think, oh yeah, the afternoon evening thing, aye, well, we're at 10 past 6 now. We'll call this evening. Yeah, Bill was, what, 8-6 down, so now Bill has turned around 3 racks. But I think we're all wondering how he's managed to do it. I think there's a fair bit of bewilderment as to what's been actually happening in this match, because nobody can get away from either. They can't get away from each other. Now we're all square again, and again a fairly straightish rack, and again Bill can't get any joy. Nothing doing, but he does have a 9-8 lead. What did I say? Well, we were square there, weren't we? Aye, right. I think I'm falling asleep already. Well, good shot in the 1. How's he? And just going to nestle onto the 6. Again, you don't get over ambitious here. You just take your medicine, pot the 2. Might get a double kiss off the 6, depending how hard he hits this. But at least he'll have a cut in the 3. So, to me, you do this. Well, he's got the double kiss, and he's got the shot that he was more or less going to end up with anyway. Now with this one, he needs to be maybe a wee bit more ambitious and play the cut with a bit of dig. He's just running it plain ball, and that's not going to give him much of a shot in the 4 though, doing that. He had to play it with a wee bit more dig, I think. Well, this is tough. It does go, but he's maybe got to check this a bit as well, just to avoid squirting away too far. And he's just caught the jaw, but it's gone in. Good shot. Problems lie ahead though, because look at where the 7 is, and look at where the 8 is. And Bill still has a glimmer of daylight at the end of the tunnel in this rack. There's still a chance. Because the chance, the likelihood is that Matt's going to leave a long cut on this 8 ball behind the 9 here. Unless he digs into this and comes down this right hand side. And he's got the perfect angle to do it. He needs to be a bit more aggressive though. And that's a better shot. I think he's actually overcooked it slightly, but he's actually going to run into the 9. But it's still a bit better than being way up table. Now he needs a nice kiss. Well, he's avoided the kiss, but he's done that. by leaving himself the higher cut. But this to square it up again. Oh dear. And it's another gift. And again, just getting that wee bit higher angle. Bit of a tentative shot there in the 9 as well. He didn't really play it with a great deal of conviction. So, there's been a turnaround, but it's been self-inflicted for the most part. Bill now has a 10 racks to 8 lead. And Matt has tried an ambitious 1-9 combo there, I think. Now if you look at these, the 5 and 6, there's nothing happening there, so the 3 balls guarded by them, so not a lot going on that end of the table, which consequently means that the likelihood of any sort of run out is fairly slim. This is going to develop into another tactical battle, and the winner of the first phase of that is going to be Bill. He's going to have ball in hand, but unless he does something crazy off this 1 ball, well, he's not even risking it. He's going to try the 1-9 combo because it's a bit of a mess to try and deal with, and it's probably a simpler option to play the combo, and he's played it well. And now he's got an 11 racks to 8 lead, and now there's a crisis because we're running out of racks here. Bill Stanton still can't get a ball in the break. I don't know how many breaks Bill's had, but I don't recall many balls dropping in. Well, that's killed the 1 ball stone dead. Now the question is well and truly being asked of MC Clarkey as to what can he do to stay not only in this match but in the tournament. Well, straight in with the bank, looking to now take it home more or less if he can run this rack, and he's got now the perfect opportunity to do so. Good angle. I thought that was a 4 up the table. It's a bloody 2. The eyes have gone again. I thought it was a 3 he had there to run down to the 4, but that's a 2 that's up table. Well, now, what does Bill do? Does he go all out? I was going to say, does he go all out for a crossbank? But he's not in that desperate sort of situation because he's got a 3 rack lead. He doesn't want to be taking risks, and he's played a half decent safety. And it looks as if Matt's lining up to try and thin this in. Yeah, that's just, again, chancing your arm too much, but he's got second prize, and the line up and down the table, there is a line to get to that 2 ball, but, and I say but, if you go that way, you've just got to miss the 3, or whatever the hell ball that is. It is the 3. You've just, I think, roughly got to miss it before you can get near that 2. So the line is not good to get to. I mean, if you went the other way and went that way with a bit of English, you could maybe try and get inside the gap between the 7 and the 3. Oh, Bill's played a cracker here. That is excellent. What a shot. Because it was not easy. And now he's looking to seal the deal here and get to the hill. Well, this is another one of these fiddly ones. Neither here nor there. Blind pocket shot. I've still got to remember about the 7 ball. And he's stunned it enough. And he's got out into a pretty good position. He should be home and dry in this rack. See, a 7 ball like that, I would never look at the line of it from that position. 7 ball like that, I would just play the shot because your natural instinct tells you the line without actually going to look at the line. But anyway, well, I mean, it'd be easy to say Bill's come on strong in this match, but nobody's been strong in this match at all. But whatever's happened, it's happened at the right time for Bill. He's now 1 away, 12-8 in front, and could still lose it. That's the way the match has been. Well, I think looking at the line sometimes, well, there's a shot that might be the last one in this tournament. I think looking at the line, see this, you know, we're talking about, you know, getting into a rhythm, and there's been no rhythm to this match whatsoever. And if you look at the way Mal's been playing, he doesn't spend an awful lot of time looking at the lines to shots. His is instinctive, and neither of them have got into that sort of rhythm. You know, when you go down on a shot, most of the time, what you see first is what you should be playing, and then it's then when you start listening to those other wee voices, you try to convince yourself you're doing the right thing. You're trying to convince yourself you're picking the right line. You've maybe missed one earlier on, and lo and behold, Matt's got a 4-9 combo with ball in hand. Now, I did say this match might not be over yet. But once again, it's a dry break, although it's not for Bill this time. Bill's played the push out, and he may well get put back in here. Matt doesn't like the look of it. Bill's looking at the line to cut this across into the top right hand corner pocket, which would be a bit ambitious. But he's having a go at it, letting the cue ball run. And the end result is that he's got a nice piece of luck at the right time. You can't sort it. Larry and Cobra will be in 40 minutes time at 7 o'clock. This is a crucial kick out here for Matt. Oh, he's nowhere near it. He hasn't found a line at all, and that could be a vital piece of good fortune there for Bill. Missing the shot in the 1, getting cover, and now getting ball in hand. But yes, if you look at the trouble ahead for Bill, he's got big trouble trying to find a way to get to that 4 ball, which is in that narrow window there. Now, let's see what he thinks. Well, he's actually got a nice little angle on this 3. I think he may as well go for it. He's got an angle here to come up the table and get into that gap. That gap from there opens up, and he's just got there, I think. He may well just have got there. So he can pot the 4. Now what he should be hoping is that he runs into this 8 ball and hits it half ball or something, so that he runs up to here and can see the 5. But it can all go wrong. Well, he's missed it, and he's fine. And now he's got a good angle to come up for this 6. So it's up and down the table. Going to the narrower side. He needs to get off the rail. Again, he's going to have to just punch this in. And again, the target area is somewhere in that area there. He's got a big area to get into. And he's just got there. Now let's see what line that is. Well, that's perfect, because that's just I mean, he can nurse it in, or he can roll through and come around and out. Whatever is more comfortable to play. But he's just run through a bit too much in the 8, but he should still be fine. He can check it up a wee bit. But Bill is going to come through in the end by 13 racks to 9. And it was not a classic, folks. It was certainly not a classic, but in the end, as I say, it doesn't matter how you get through. Bill's just looking to survive. Winning ugly comes in handy sometimes. And so Bill has, well, that was quick. That updated quick. There's Bill through already. So that is that for the first match of the 2 matches we've got today. The next match is coming up at the top of the hour, so that means that I can have a break, and we will start the stream about 10 minutes before the top of the hour, and we'll see if we can get Stephen. He said he was going to come in, so we'll have a look out for him. So thanks for watching, guys, and I hope you can join us a little bit later on. Remember, if you can't, it will be on YouTube, and you can watch them all on the Virtual 9 Ball World Championship playlist as well. There's I don't know, there's 30 odd streams here, but there's a lot more matches on there, because some of the streams were more than one. So I'm off for a little break. I'll see you again in a little while.